Jane Pitt, the mother of Hollywood actor Brad Pitt, has passed away. The news was confirmed by the Pitt family through an obituary shared with local media in Springfield, Missouri, where she lived for decades. Her passing took place on Tuesday, August 5, 2025. At the age of 84, this news has drawn attention from people both in the entertainment world and outside of it. Not because she was a public figure herself, but because of the life she lived, the people she influenced, and the deep family connections she maintained. While Jane was known to the public as Brad Pitt's mother, she built her own identity long before her son's fame. She spent years in education, community work, and philanthropy. She was a school counselor in the Springfield public school system, an accomplished artist, and someone deeply rooted in her community. Those who knew her personally often described her as thoughtful, generous, and consistent in her care for others. As news of her passing began to spread, many wanted to know the cause of her death and details about her funeral or memorial arrangements. At this time, the family has not disclosed any cause of death. The obituary confirmed her passing, but specifically avoided providing medical details. Similarly, there has been no public announcement about funeral services, whether private or open to the public. The Pitt family has requested privacy during this period. Out of respect, no assumptions should be made. As soon as any official updates are released regarding either the cause of death or funeral arrangements, they will be shared through trusted and verified channels. For now, the focus is on the life she lived and the legacy she leaves behind. Jane was born and raised in the Midwest, later settling in Springfield, Missouri, with her husband William Bill Pitt. Together, they raised 3 children: Brad, Doug, and Julie. Friends and family describe their household as loving but grounded, with strong values that centered around education, kindness, and community involvement. These were not values they just talked about, they practiced them in her professional life. Jane worked in education for many years, impacting the lives of children and their families. She had the patience and skill that made her effective. In her role as a counselor, and her former colleagues often spoke about her ability to connect with students in a genuine way. She believed in the potential of every child and encouraged them, not only to excel academically, but also to be compassionate individuals. Her community presence was felt outside the school system as well, one of the most notable contributions she and her family made was in 2009 when they donated $1 million to Mercy Hospital in Springfield. This donation helped establish the Jane Pitt Pediatric Cancer Center, a facility that continues to provide specialized treatment for children. The choice to support a pediatric cancer center reflects her lifelong dedication to the well-being of young people. Even years after that donation, local news outlets frequently mentioned the center as a testament to her lasting impact on healthcare in the region. But Jane's legacy isn't measured only in professional achievements or public philanthropy, it is also deeply personal. She was a grandmother to 14 grandchildren, and she created meaningful traditions with them. One of the most cherished of these was what the family called your special day. Each grandchild would have a day entirely dedicated to them. These were not extravagant events, but rather simple, focused time spent together, whether it was going for a treat, painting side by side, or simply talking and laughing. This tradition created memories that her grandchildren now hold close as they process her loss. Her granddaughter Sydney Pitt shared a heartfelt message after Jane's passing. On social media, Sydney wrote, "We were not ready for you to go. Yet, but knowing you are finally free to sing, dance, and paint again makes it a tad easier. I don't know how we move forward without her, but I know she's still here in every brushstroke, every kind gesture, every hummingbird. She was love in its purest form." These words offer a glimpse into the kind of grandmother Jane was. Present, loving, and able to leave behind a sense of her presence in everyday life. Painting was more than just a hobby for Jane. It was a form of connection. She used her artistic skills to bond with her family, especially her grandchildren. For them, painting with Grammy wasn't about creating a perfect picture. It was about spending time together, learning to see the world through creativity and feeling encouraged in their efforts. Even for those outside the family, her artwork and her encouragement carried value. She sometimes shared her creations at community events or with friends, always as a gesture of warmth rather than for recognition. Although she occasionally appeared in public alongside Brad at film premieres or red carpet events, she stayed out of the public eye. Those moments, however, became part of her public image because they showed the pride she had in her son's accomplishments. Yet even then, her own life in Springfield remained her priority. Friends have recalled that despite the Hollywood connection, Jane never sought fame or attention. She preferred the stability and familiarity of her community. That's where she continued to invest her time. The days following her passing have brought public attention not only to her life story, but also to the family's current state of mourning. Reports from reputable sources have shared that Brad Pitt is leaning on his close circle during this time. His girlfriend Ines de Ramon has been offering him support. It's helping him navigate his grief while also respecting the family's need for privacy. This has been an emotional period for the Pitt family, one where personal loss outweighs public appearances or professional obligations. Just weeks before her passing, in June, Brad publicly expressed appreciation for his mother. During an interview, he made a point to acknowledge the influence she had on his life, highlighting her role in shaping his values and work ethic. This makes the timing of her passing even more poignant, as those words now serve as one of his last public tributes to her while she was alive. For the local community in Springfield, Jane's death is not just the loss of a famous actor's mother, it is the loss of someone who contributed to education, healthcare, and community well-being for decades. Her philanthropic work, especially the Pediatric Cancer Center, continues to benefit children and families today. Her legacy also extends internationally through her family's involvement in projects like World Serve International, which focuses on providing clean water in developing countries and other causes she supported, even without specific details. On the cause of death or funeral plans, the reaction to her passing reflects the respect and admiration people had for her. Friends, former colleagues, and community members have shared their memories, all pointing to a consistent theme. Jane was someone who gave more than she took, and who understood the value of investing time and care into people in situations like this, where the family chooses to withhold certain details. It is important for public conversation to remain respectful. Speculation about her cause of death does nothing to honor her memory. The most accurate and respectful approach is to rely only on official updates from the family or trusted media outlets that have confirmed information. Until then, all we know for certain is that Jane Etta Pitt passed away at 84, leaving behind a husband, 3 children, 14 grandchildren, and a legacy that blends personal love with public service. When the family is ready, they may choose to share more about the circumstances of her passing or about any planned services to celebrate her life. As soon as that information is made available, it will be shared so that the record remains accurate and up to date. Until then, the focus remains on remembering the life she lived, the values she stood for, and the positive impact she had on everyone who knew her. Jane's story reminds us that influence doesn't always come from public recognition or grand gestures. Sometimes it comes from steady, everyday actions, being present for family, committing to one's profession, supporting causes that matter, and showing kindness without expecting anything in return. These are the things people will remember about Jane Etta Pitt. Her absence will be felt most deeply by her family, especially those who shared in her traditions, her laughter, and her love of simple joys. For them, the coming days will be about holding on to those memories, supporting one another, and finding ways to honor her through the lives they continue to lead. For the rest of us, her life stands as an example of how lasting impact is built quietly, steadily, and with genuine care for others. And once again, it must be noted clearly, the cause of Jane Pitt's death has not been disclosed by the family, and no public information has been released about her funeral or memorial service. As soon as these details are officially shared, they will be updated through verified sources to ensure accuracy. Until that time, her memory lives on in her family, her community, and the many lives she touched throughout her 84 years.